Hello, this is an opportunity to look through the collection online that the Getty offers for their collection that will help you narrow down some topic for paper for this class. To take a look at what the Getty has available, you can uh, basically look for the collection, museum collection, and it'll give you a opportunity to search through what they have cataloged here. They have several hundred thousand pieces between the Getty Center and the Getty Villa. A small fraction of that is on display at any one time, and a fraction is cataloged here online as well, some with images. So we're going to skip all this present and contemporary stuff and go over here just to this narrow timeline. Okay, and so as we are thinking about even that, you see it's almost 50,000 images of pieces of art, or 50,000 results, I should say, some of which have images and some of which do not, in this ancient range, or ancient to medieval range. But what we want to do is, number one, only show things that are on view, because your work in the artifact exercise is only going to be those pieces that you're able to see up close and personal. And so you see that immediately, just the things that are only on view, limits it to just over 1,300 pieces. Now, this is a class that focuses on ancient Rome, and so we're not going to be looking at black figure amphorae like this chariot race scene. We're not looking at Greek stuff. We are looking at Roman stuff, and so you can filter into that through this menu, cultures, and what you want to do is just hit Roman. And you see that there's only 460 results at that point. Okay, what else can we do with this? Well, we can also narrow the date even farther. So if we go back to creation date, the Roman period that we're looking at really goes from about 100 to about 300. 100 BC, that is, to 300 AD. You see negative 100 to 300. And if we apply those dates, and we're now at like 420 results, that's a much, much more manageable number. We can do it further by looking at things that we're able to see bits of online, and so we would click open content. Well, we want something that we're able to take a look at. These have images, and then there's some things that are just broken up into parts, and if we just exclude the object parts, that really limits it down now to 300. We've got 300 images. Now, if you just start scanning through some of these things, there's about 50 images per page. You'll notice that there are some really interesting bits, like some bronze statues, some marble portraits, bronze eagle that would have been on the standard, smaller and larger bronzes, silvers, etc. But we also got a lot of glass, and it turns out that the villa catalogs an awful lot of Roman glass, which is interesting. Don't get me wrong. It would be a great social historical piece that you could do, a study on just a basic vessel for perfume or for dining or anything like that. You'll notice that there's a lot of these little cameos too, which are smaller than a dime, many of them, very difficult to see. Some of them are ornate, some of them are intricate, and I'm not going to forbid you from spending your time and your paper working with one of these very small artifacts, but for our purposes, I want to exclude some of that. So that's what these other bits do. Object types. You'll notice that there's plenty of bowls. If you want to exclude those, you just, I guess you have to include what it is that you want to include, and click a bunch of boxes like that. If you just want to look at sculpture, for example, you hit this, and it really limits things down to sculpture. If, on the other hand, you want to exclude all the glass, for example, you just or say I wanted to exclude all glass and precious stones, I'd skip agate and amethyst, and I'd just choose the bronzes. and things that are made out of copper, enamel, paintings in fresco, things with gilding. I'm going to skip over glass and work with gold, iron, ivory, skip jasper and lead, limestone. Here's my marble statuary, pigments and polychromy. Skip over rock crystal and sardonyx, but I'll go with silver. Stone tesserae, that's going to be some mosaic, tempera, and terracotta. And now I've limited myself to under 200 pieces. And so I've only got 4 pages, or I should only have 4 pages to look at. Maybe just a few, no, just one on that 5th page. And then I can do a quick scan of these things and say, oh, all right, well, there's some historical figures, like this mother of Nero, the portrait head of Agrippina the Younger, or a mythological representation of Leda and the swan. The Nerva, the first of the good emperors, 96 to 98 AD. There's his portrait head. So there's some funerary monuments as well. We don't know who Caltilius and Caltilia are, but they're the ones memorialized on this tombstone. And that's an interesting piece, again, of social history, but there's also political history going on here too. So that's essentially the lesson, is how to get to the getty.edu/art/collection and start narrowing your stuff down. Make certain that you always show only the stuff that's on view, okay? And then narrow it further from there for work in ancient Rome. What does this do? Once you are able to scan through a more manageable number of bits that you know are on view that are cataloged here with an image, you can click on that image, and now all of a sudden I have a way to get a copy of this. I can download some of that image, and it also tells me a lot about this piece, what we do know and what we don't know. Tells me where to find it when I finally go to the villa, either alone or with class. So, I get you in for free. You'd have to, spend your hard-earned money if you go alone. But you're invited to go as we go with class, so that you can see this up close and personal. And it's on the 2nd floor, Gallery 209, in early Roman sculpture. Let's see. The art details will offer you some notes on provenance. Talking about how it was acquired. Oh, it's a gift of J. Paul Getty. This was something in J. Paul Getty's collection when he handed it all over. Let's see. There's links here to give you some more stuff. There's the provenance, purchased at market in Rome and sold to J. Paul Getty by Alfredo Barsanti, and J. Paul Getty donated it himself as the villa was being constructed in 1970. So that's an interesting piece that you don't have to go too far to find. It also gives you a lot of the basic information, the dimensions, the medium, etc. Beyond that, you have a great brief basic description of what's going on with this artifact. It's not even an essay, it's just really a blurb, isn't it? Something that you did not write, but and it's not necessarily quotable either. This is not heavy-duty research, but it's something that gives you at least the first pass at what's important about this representation, if you didn't know the history of this. And then it gives you some key terms so that you can start diving in to your own research through survey texts and through secondary lit, and then maybe even some primary literature as well. And you can do that with any of these images that pop out. I know for a fact that this piece is in the same gallery as this piece is. Interestingly, this is going to be on the 1st floor. Here's a portrait head of Tiberius, and it's on the 1st floor because that was owned by Lansdowne, and it's next to a very large statue. But okay, here's another historical bit. Tiberius, related in the same dynasty as that lady whose bust we just saw earlier. Again, basics of some of the information about this piece. This one is replete with alternative views, so you can see it from many angles, and then again, full artwork details and hopefully a little bit on the provenance. There it is. We are able to track through a lot of the ownership of this piece before it got to the J. Paul Getty Museum all the way back to the beginning of the 19th century. So, in any case, notice that there's links also for a bibliography on the artwork, where it has been exhibited as well. But this is also quite helpful for your own research. And it makes the material world that much more real as you pay more attention to it. We're going to be paying attention to it in a scholarly way. You can do this with these historical bits. You are certainly welcome to pick a fresco or some kind of decoration or a mythological figure or even coins, right? But take a look at these things. You get to pick something that grabs you and approve it, get it approved through me. Everybody's going to be doing something unique. And if you do this early, it gives you a head start on starting to think about how to frame your summative paper for this class. Hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to seeing the fruits of your labor. Take care.